Okay, we're moving up to the heavyweight division now, and back up on the seconds out for I think was what was going to be the third or fourth time. We've got Saglam, who is the unbeaten Turkish prospect. 14 fights, 14 wins, 13 of which have been by way of knockout, and he's up against Subin from the Ukraine. I'm very much undecided about Saglam, regardless of his record, I have to say, and looking at the record of Subin, who he's up against today, I'm not sure he's going to prove any different to me, even with another win and another stoppage tonight. But let's see what happens. Have you seen anything of Saglam before, Chris?
No, I haven't. There's quite a few of these European fighters who are coming through now with big records. You know, you have to say have been padded to an extent. I've seen a couple of them recently. You know, the guys that Danny Williams has fought, like Oleg Platov, and the last time out, the last one that was on this channel, Konstantin Eric.
Yes.
You know, the guys who promise a lot from their records and the statistics. You know, plenty of knockouts in their fights. So, you know, you don't know if it's to do with these records or if they actually do have a bit of talent about them.
Well, you're 100% right. There's no question about that whatsoever. And as I said, we've been following Saglam on his last three or four bouts on seconds out, and I've got to tell you, I'm still undecided. I mean, he's an incredibly fit-looking individual, but I'm just not sure. I don't know what it proves when you're putting up, as we've just had a previous conversation, when you put up these opponents who are really not putting them to any form of a test whatsoever. But nevertheless, let's see what he can do.
One thing you can't deny about both Platov and Eric, who we've talked about, is they can punch. You know, their records might be padded to a degree, but there's no doubt they can wallop, and Danny Williams would attest to that. You think Saglam would definitely be along those lines with 13 knockouts from 14 wins.
Alexander Subin, hepinizi alkışlıyoruz. Ve işte rakibi and his opponent in the blue corner, mavi köşede, Türk boxer Yakup Saglam.
Well, it looks like he supports West Ham, doesn't he?
Even out, Aston Villa have got new sponsors.
Oh, is it Aston Villa, is it? Shows how much I know about football. Saglam is a pretty tall, rangy boxer. He certainly appears to have a lot of power there. Well, you know what, I've just had one of our viewers tell us that the actual football shirt he is wearing is Trabzon.
And in the red corner,
yes.
39 years old.
I stand corrected. What on earth would have made me think that was West Ham?
Well, yes.
Or Aston Villa?
Trabzonspor's colours are the claret and blue, so you know, it does match the same colour scheme.
Listen, all I know is just it shows that our listeners are right. They're right on their game, that's for sure.
And his opponent in the blue
Well,
corner,
wherever you're joining us from around the world, welcome.
193
This is Seconds Out, and you're live with us here in Turkey. And we've just got some heavyweight action coming up for you right now. Subin from the Ukraine against the unbeaten Saglam from Turkey. This proves to be an exciting match, I hope, because Saglam is unbeaten and he has 13 knockouts and he's 14 wins. So don't blink on this one. He's been on Seconds Out for the last 3 or 4 of his bouts, and we're following his progress. I've got with me Tris Dixon, who is one of the senior writers on Boxing News, and we're here tonight to talk you through the action. And coming up soon, we've got the European Heavyweight Championship between Paolo Vidoz and Sinan Semil Sam. So here we go. This is a heavyweight action, and this is over 6 rounds.
Just looking at the records, that sounds quite optimistic.
Well, I've got to say at the moment, Subin is looking pretty calm out there. I don't think he's overly fazed by Saglam.
Took a good right hand there.
Saglam certainly snarling as he makes his way in here. He's firing away. He's had Subin on the back foot from the opening bell. And I'm sure in front of his home crowd he wants to put on a big show. Well, there's a touchdown there. Now, he had his back to us, so I don't know whether he was caught there by something from Subin. Hopefully we'll see that on the replay. But it slowed him down a little bit. I think he's thinking twice now about marching forward. Subin needs to tuck that chin up, though. Trissy's certainly hanging that out to dry at the moment.
Yeah, Saglam's looking to take advantage of that big right over the top.
Well, he's got low
Just
hands,
like
very low hands, Subin.
He's got that left hand low, his chin up in the air. You can just see that right hand doing some damage as this fight progresses.
I think Saglam needs to just tidy himself up a little bit and get some composure here. He's just trying a little bit too hard, and it's all a little bit messy in there. And he's in front of his home crowd, and obviously he wants to prove something here for them.
I think there's blood from Subin's elbow.
Yeah, he's got it from his elbow, hasn't he? Yeah. I mean, Subin is wide open for this right hand from Saglam at the moment. He really is.
Saglam's a little bit ragged. He's throwing wide shots. You know, he needs to straighten up those shots if he's going to take advantage of those openings. He certainly doesn't have the fastest hands in the world, does he, Saglam?
Well, it's a very ragged start. It really is. I mean, as I said, his last few fights have been on that Seconds Out, and okay, I've not been overly impressed at all by his opponents, but he's done the job that he's had to do. But this is very messy at the moment. I wonder whether the being back in front of his home crowd, and a bit of pressure there. Maybe it's got to him. But he needs to tidy this up, get back to his boxing, pinpoint these shots.
The gaps are there if he's just a little bit more patient.
There's the right hand again.
Again, we've got another fighter here who's not working the body. You know, Subin's body, you know, it's there for a taking as well. You know, long, slender body. Certainly the way Salam's fighting, coming in from a low crouch, should be looking to pound away at the torso, but it's not the case. He's headhunting. It's a nice right hand there, over the top.
Again, when you look at a record like this, and this was my question in the first place, you know, 14 fights, unbeaten, 13 knockouts. You expect a better technical performance than this.
Yeah, possibly shows that he hasn't been getting the learning fights that he needs.
Left to the body.
To take his game to the next level. Clearly has power, you know, he's shaken Subin on a couple of occasions already, but it's just making the most of it. You know, he's coming in winning with these shots. He needs to narrow them up, you know, not come from so wide.
I mean, the punches coming from Subin look to me like they're in slow motion.
Yeah, there's very little power in there. He can't keep Salam away. But if Salam shortened those punches, just brought them through straight shots instead of wide, you'd have so much more success with them. You see, shorten that one a bit. You know, it didn't come from quite so wide. Standing 8 count.
Well, you know, we witnessed this on the last show with Danny Williams, standing 8 count without a touchdown, and
I didn't think they'd come back in officially.
Well, I can only assume this is something that must be agreed before the fights. But we witnessed this in Spain, and this was part of the controversy that went on with the Danny Williams-Constantine Eric fight. Both Eric and Danny Williams being afforded standing 8 counts.
You could have seen Henrik Mumet, the referee there. You could have seen him, you know, actually intervening and stopping the fight there. You know, he would have been well.
I think that's what we thought we were on the edge of there, wasn't it? But instead it was a standing 8 count, and that really makes no sense.
You could have understood him for stopping that, really, because it is one-way traffic. You know, Subin doesn't need to be taking heavy shots like this, and it almost seems inevitable that he's going to take more shots before the end comes. Whether that's in the next round or the one after, I'm not sure.
I'll tell you one thing that interests me here, Tris, and that is this is only over 6 rounds. And again, I wonder why, when you know, Salam is now, this is his 15th fight. He's, you know, unbeaten, and he's on a 6-round fight. Why is he fighting a 6-round fight? And I want to see now, he's put up a sustained attack. He's trying to impress the crowd here, his home crowd. This guy is still on his feet, and I've just got a sneaky suspicion that if he doesn't land with a punch here, if he doesn't finish this fight, and if Subin is still standing, you just might see a difference in Salam in the last couple of rounds to see whether he really has got any, you know, any stamina there. because he's putting everything into this at the moment, and it's not having the desired effect.
I don't know, I can't see Subin standing up to too much more of this. And I think the ref's taking a good look.
There we are, not a standing 8 now. I'll tell you now, Salem has spent a great deal of energy in these last 2 rounds, and I think this might tell. I really do. He needs a clean shot to put this away, finish the job, and he's just not doing it tonight. It's a very, very messy affair out there.
It is messy, but there's no question who's on the receiving end.
Oh, no question who's on the receiving end, but I'm just looking at the body language of Salim, and to me, he's tiring, and he's tiring rapidly. His mouth is open, he's gasping for air, and he's not used to people standing up from these sort of punches. And again, that's what makes me question the upbringing of some of these boxers and these hand-picked opponents.
Well, in England, there aren't too many fighters who...
that was a good shot. That one went to the chin.
Yep.
And the referee stopped it there.
As I was saying, in England, there aren't too many fighters who, after 14 fights, who actually still have a 6-rounders.
Absolutely. Well, there we are. That's Salam. I mean, he's now improved his record to 15 fights, 15 wins, 14 by way of KO. But I'll repeat what I said at the beginning of this fight. I'm still not convinced.
No, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. There's no sort of real class around there. He can obviously bang, but his shots are too wide. He doesn't look to have fast hands. You know, some of the heavyweights out there do have fast hands. And you know, a guy like Subin, you couldn't see him lasting sort of a round with any of the top 10 or 15 heavyweights.
Absolutely.
Really.
Right, well listen, next up we're going back to the middleweight division. And from Latvia we've got Bariko, and he's up against Mahir Oral, another fighter we've had on seconds out from Germany.
Spor severler. Ve işte
Oral's a different cup of tea altogether. I've been quite impressed with Oral.
sevgili
Strong, good technical boxer.
Ve işte sevgili boks severler. Karşılaşmanın galibi, and the winner is by technical knockout in the 3rd round, 2 minutes 8 seconds. Karşılaşmayı kazanan 3. roundda teknik knockoutla 2 dakika 8. saniyesinde mavi köşede, the blue corner, Yakup Saglam.
Yeah, I think there was an air of inevitability around that one from the moment they came down to the ring to sort of midway through the 2nd round when he started to get through. He did shorten up his punches. They were still too wide, but he did shorten up his punches, which is why he started to get through with that right hand a little bit more. There wasn't much variety there. You know, he found the one thing that worked for him and kept doing it. You know, it was very little. It was very one-dimensional for him, really.
I agree with you. I genuinely think that maybe the pressure of being in front of his home crowd, this is a big night of boxing in Turkey, and he wanted to put on a good show, and it was possibly over-enthusiastic about doing a job out there.
And while I was convinced in that 3rd round that he would put the guy away. I was sure he'd put Subin away. I could see, as you said, that he was tiring. You know, it does make you wonder, you know, if he goes even beyond sort of 4 or 5 rounds, you know, what's he going to have against a better class of opponent who doesn't fall over in front of him?
Hence, I think we question the fact that after 40 on his 15th fight, with such a good record on paper, he's still only having a 6-round fight.